Hello everybody, good morning, Monday. Mariette and I spent the weekend in Pietermaritzburg. My daughter Catherine got married to a very nice young Maritzburg boy, Mark van Heerden. And it was a grand occasion. I had the supreme joy of leading Catherine down the aisle. I was wearing my kilt, I might add, and altogether a grand experience. We flew up on Thursday and we are back now in Hermanus. But sitting there watching proceedings both before, during and after the wedding and the reception, my mind was taken back to the second chapter of the Gospel of John, where we read how Jesus graced a wedding reception with his presence. And I think it's great that Jesus was present on such an occasion. We sometimes imagine that Jesus kind of reserves his presence for hard times, for suffering, and he certainly is there for us in the dark, difficult moments of life. But here he shares his presence and his love and his mercy and his compassion in a time of supreme joy, and that was my sense over the weekend. Now, one thing that did not happen at the weekend was the wine did not run out. You remember what happened in John chapter 2? The guests clearly are having a grand time, and suddenly they realize that the supplies of wine are low, and eventually they're gone. It was extremely embarrassing. Now they looked to Jesus, hoping that he might do something. And Jesus, for a moment, seems a little bit reluctant. They go to his mother and they say, "Please, will you ask Jesus if he can do something about it?" What they expected Jesus to do, I'm not sure. But Jesus comes at the right moment. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. And he commands that some jars be filled with water, or water pots be filled with water. And what he did, what he said, I'm not sure. But before we know it, he gives the instruction that they are to take a cup of the wine and give it to the host, who tastes it and is really puzzled. Because, as he says, the tradition, the culture dictates that you start with the best wine and then only later do you bring on the inferior stuff, the plonk. But, says the host of the reception, you've done it the other way round. You have served the best wine last. Now there's a lesson in that. John was trying to tell us that for many people, life has petered out. Not that we're dying or anything like that, but it's just that in terms of an expectation, a sense of the future, a sense of hopefulness, the sense that life is good and that there's something we can do, something we can contribute, that life is worthwhile and life is to be embraced in all its goodness, that very quickly, it seems, can pass us by. And we are left in an almost a state of constant disappointment, frustration. There must be something more. And part of the lesson, and there are many lessons in John chapter 2, part of the lesson about the changing of water into wine is that when Jesus arrives on the scene, and in his time, he can transform our lives from mediocrity into something very special, something where he galvanizes all that you and I are and makes our lives truly worth living. So, whatever your age may be, just know this, that Jesus can and will bestow upon you the best wine, even perhaps when you think you are past your prime. He can do that for you. He can do that for us all. read John chapter 2 and see it as a word addressed to you. God be with you.